Could we expect one more rodeo?
I felt like my life was going downhill real quick, and I just decided to save myself. I walked into an MMA school with the mindset of being the best in the world.
Believing that you can be somebody was something that was taught to me. But once I learned that the difference between him and I was just between the ears, I started to believe that the sky was truly the limit for me.
My name is Vic Blends, and this is Deep Cut with John Jones.
What's up, Vic?
John Bones Jones.
My man.
Bro, I appreciate you having us. Welcome to our shop, man.
To Albuquerque.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Yeah.
It's only really my second time in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Like I told you, my sister's a Lobo, man, so she graduated from UNM for nursing, so.
Came out to send her off.
Yeah, I remember being here, yeah, for her graduation, and that was about it. It was pretty much in and out.
Nice.
How do you want to do your cut, man?
So I'm thinking we shave the head down and then fade up into the beard.
Yep.
And that's about it, a little trim.
What about the mustache? How do you feel about the
Mustache,
mustache?
I like the mustache to be natural.
Yep.
Look real natural, not lined up or anything.
What about the bottom right over the lip?
Right, we can take a little bit off over the lip, but I like to look kind of
Natural on top.
Yeah, I like to look kind of like, did he shower today or didn't he? You know,
Yeah,
I like to leave.
yeah, that type of vibe.
I like that gruff,
Yep.
that scruff look.
All right, I got you.
All right,
Yo, I thought
cool.
you would have way more cauliflower ear, by the way.
No.
Now that I'm looking at it, I thought you would have.
I dish out cauliflower ear.
Some guys really like cauliflower. That's their thing. Like, they want that.
I had my first one in high school, and so I kind of know what it's like to have it now.
When you first started wrestling, was it like, I want the cauliflower? A lot of guys want it as like initiation.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a badge of honor. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when you see a man with cauliflower ears, you know that he's been through
Yeah.
some stuff. That's for sure.
So I got a legendary first question I ask everybody.
Tell me.
What is your name and what do you do?
That's funny. My actual name is Jonathan Dwight Jones, and but people know me as John Bones Jones, and they also know me as the GOAT, and I'm the
Yeah.
current UFC heavyweight champion of the world.
That's what's up, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, so for some reason, I've never been warned so much about coming to a city other than Albuquerque. And I've
That's
been to
funny.
a lot of cities, but when people saw I was coming, my brother, my dad, everybody was like, be careful in Albuquerque,
That's
bro.
funny.
What's up with the vibes out here, man? Like, tell me how you feel about the city. What's your relationship with it?
I think Albuquerque is one of America's best kept secrets. Like, there's a lot of really great things about Albuquerque. Some of the most humble people are here. We have all types of food. We get all the different seasons when it comes to weather. I think our Sandia Mountains are some of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Sandia stands for watermelon because as the sun sets, sometimes you look at the mountain and it gives you so many different colors against the rock that it kind of looks like a watermelon. I got a bunch of phone calls last night. People said they saw you out. I guess you had dinner and went out for a little while.
Bro, there was so much love in Albuquerque. Like, everywhere we were out on the street, dudes were driving by, stopping, we're taking photos. It was sick. I
That's
got a lot of
awesome.
love here. Like I said, my sister graduated here, so I got some small ties to Albuquerque, man.
Yeah, for the most part, if you're a real cat, you'll get all the love in the world. And I think your brand and just the person that you are, the way you carry yourself and represent yourself. I think people see that, and a guy like you would have no problems here.
Bro, that's love. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I know there's so much love for Albuquerque. It's home, but you're just a kid from Endicott, New York.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell me about growing up there, small town.
Endicott, New York. So originally, I'm from Rochester, New York.
Rochester.
But I did grow up in Endicott, New York. Rochester, New York was the inner city. I lived in the inner city. Grew up with a really good family, a real large family. My dad was the oldest of 12, and so I had a lot of aunties and uncles around, a lot of cousins, and we're church people for the most part. Vic. I was born on a Sunday. My dad's a pastor. My grandfather's a pastor. A lot of the women in my family are either first ladies or of a church, or sing in the choir, play instruments, organs, and serve the church. So I grew up real heavy in the church, but I also grew up in the hood, so I was used to seeing violence at a young age, and death in the family due to violence at a young age and things like that. A lot of love in my life, but just grew up in a rough area in the inner city of Rochester, New York.
Just growing up in a rough area and seeing things that we could say are traumatic early, is it hard to keep a relationship with God when you are surrounded by so many things that could make you question?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that it made things hard as far as keeping that relationship with God. If anything, it strengthened my relationship with God because I always viewed God as a protector, you know, as my protector, as my family's protector.
Amen.
So as there were so many, you know, violent and negative things between the drugs and the violence, as there was so much of that around us, it just made me see where I didn't want to go, what I didn't want to be a part of, and what I wanted to be protected from. So if anything, it just drew me closer to the higher power.
And man, such a, I would say, competitive household, right? Growing up with two brothers, growing up with your sister. Did you feel that early on there was going to be something special about the Jones family?
That's a great question. For the longest time, I didn't feel like there was anything special about my family. I actually felt like my family was beneath a lot of other families and beneath a lot of other people, just because we were so we're a poor family. So you know, high school, memories of high school and middle school. All the other kids, you know, they can go out for lunch. They would go to McDonald's, Wendy's, and stuff. And you know, I was always one of those kids who had free lunch. You know, because we couldn't even afford the school lunch.
The little cheese, the little bologna cheese sandwich, that comes in a brown bag.
Whatever they had for the day, that's what me and my family grew up eating. So I never felt like our family was really special. The one thing that I knew that was different about me and my brothers and sister was we would always get complimented on being polite. You know, you would always ask my mom and dad, how did you get your kids to just be so polite? We'd always hit people with yes, sir, no, sir, please, and thank you. I remember my mom would say she would beat her kids every day, twice a day, whether we needed it or not.
Did they do belt?
Oh,
did they
belt.
do switch? Was it just hand?
Oh, you know, big, huh?
My dad told me my dad's Army, man. I got that belt.
Yeah.
That belt was his favorite tool in the arsenal, favorite weapon, belt, man.
That's funny. You know, oh man, I don't want to get my dad arrested, but man, I've been beat with extension cords, switches,
whatever they could grab.
Bro, you name it, bro. I used to get my ass handed to me. But yeah, you know, I feel like our ability to be polite and respectful to others is one of the things I've always known about my family that made us a little different than you know, our peers growing up. That was special. Yeah, for sure.
There are no shortcuts worth taking. If there's somewhere that you want to be and there's something that you're trying to accomplish and you can take a shortcut to get there, then it's probably not somewhere you want to be in the first place. It don't mean you got to get there overnight. It just means you got to get better 1% every single day, whether that's mentally, physically, or emotionally. When Tom Brady and the family at Noble realized that we shared the same mentality, they believed in me early and they helped me get my podcast off the ground. So when I hit them up and told them that I want to do something to give back to the people that are watching this, because I know there's somewhere out there on the same journey, trying to better themselves, we came up with the code VIC10. So that's going to get y'all 30% off your gear. So hopefully it reminds you every single day to show up for yourself, to be you, and don't take no bullshit while you're getting there. If you were to look at mom and dad and think about the makeup of John Jones, what do you think you took from mom? What do you think you took from dad?
Nice. Okay, great question. My mom, what I took from my mom was her leadership ability. My dad's a great leader as well, but my mom had this ability to take people who maybe felt as if they were average themselves and brought out the absolute best in people. My mom could take, you know, people who are from broken homes and people who are substance abuse or, you know, women that have been in prostitution and all these type of things. My mom would take in these type of women and she would clean them up. She would let them know that they were loved and they were valued and they were appreciated. She would teach them how to carry themselves and how to dress properly walking into a church or just being around their children, you know, being accountable for their children. My mom was a great leader. She could really take ordinary people and do extraordinary things. And I think that's an ability that I've taken from my mom.
And it makes her an extraordinary person.
Oh, absolutely. Her funeral, I realized that my mom was an absolute rock star, but she wasn't famous. She had about 15 women that stood up and talked about the way my mom has changed their life. And so my mom was My mom was a difference maker. She was a soul saver, and she was an extraordinary person. So I've taken her leadership skills. My father is a man of great faith. He's a man who can take nothing and make something great out of it. He's a compassionate person who cares about others. And he's given his whole adult life to service as a pastor of a church. And even before being a pastor, he was a corrections officer with young men. So my dad was just a great leader. I couldn't have been raised by a better person. He ruled with an iron fist, but he was used to keeping young men tight and on the right path. And I say he did a pretty good job raising me as well.
Man, so much service that comes from your parents.
Yes.
And I think that's what we're here to do, is serve the needs of others as people. That's what God put us here for.
Yeah, they say the best leaders, they lead from the front of the line. And so I try to keep that same energy when I'm serving my community or whatever I may be doing. You know, I'm always out there myself, being hands-on.
When I was going around and meeting some of the locals, they were just like, man, he does so much that we don't see.
Wow.
They're like, John is out here, regular person, a local, nobody crowds him, and he does a lot for the community that you just won't see online.
Yeah.
That's just the word that I've heard around the city as I've just been here over the last day.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. I love this community so much. You know, the city of Albuquerque, definitely, we need heroes, and we have a lot of heroes. You know, our law enforcement, our fire department, our educators. And we just got a lot of great community members out here. I'm really proud to have my charity. We have a program called the CARE Project where we give back to the community in any way we know how. We've been around for a while now. And proud to say that we've donated $600,000 to this community without being a 501c3. You know, it just comes right out of pocket, and it feels good. You know, it feels really good to help out this community. And it feels
so, John, what was the original dream? Childhood dream, growing up, what did you imagine that you wanted to do with your life?
Originally, Vic, I wanted to be a porn star.
Bro, is this like...
No, I'm teasing you, buddy. No, I'm messing with you.
We gotta have to crack that. Let's start the OnlyFans. We get it popping.
I do pretty well, I bet. We both do pretty well.
You'll probably that look. You might get some more clicks than me.
That's funny. Originally, I wanted to be a law enforcement. I wanted to be a police officer. That's what I wanted to do. I've always wanted to be a person that helped out others. And in high school, I wasn't a very popular guy. And I remember some times in my life where I had very little friends, and I would sit and talk to this police officer for my lunch breaks. This dude would answer every question I had about just everything. He would answer every question. And he became my friend. And I started to idolize this guy a little bit, just for his being in a position of power and authority, but also being so kind. And that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to model myself after him and be that person that he was for me to other people. I wanted to be a police officer. I wanted to help. And as I've gotten older, you know, things have changed. And now I try to help in other ways as a fighter and just with my platform. But that was the original goal, law enforcement. That was a huge dream of mine. But I ended up falling in love my senior year in high school with my fiance, the person that I'm still with to this day.
It's beautiful, love is a beautiful thing.
Oh, it's great. And once I fell in love with her, I couldn't imagine myself being overseas and not with my family. So there was my plans and there were God's plans, and
always.
And His plan was for me to be a world champion fighter, spreading His goodness around the planet.
His book is the best book ever written.
Yeah, it's the most popular.
Yep.
It's the most true.
So, as you're coming into college, you know, I know that you came up, you wrestled in college, JUCO champ, state champ in high school.
Yep.
When you were in college, I know that you spent 1 year and you and your fiance were expecting your first kid. In that time, I think as I looked into your story, I could not imagine telling my fiance, oh, babe, you're pregnant. Oh, I'll just go be a professional MMA fighter.
Right.
What kind of gamble? Like, when you were weighing that option in your head, how is that direction you want to go into?
Yeah, it was a huge gamble for me, Vic. This is around like 2007, 2007, 2008. I had two brothers at the time who were at the University of Syracuse, and they were performing at such a high level. Everybody in our community knew that they were going to be in the NFL. And me, I was kind of in limbo for a while after college. You know, I had a baby on the way. I ended up dropping out of school, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I knew that I didn't want to be a statistic. You know, another young man out there, you know, abandoning kids and stuff like that. And so I knew whatever I did, I wanted to do it at the highest level. And I wanted to keep up with the Joneses. You know, I wanted to keep up with my brothers and do something big. And so I started to do jiu-jitsu after college, and with the intentions of making it to the UFC. And my original jiu-jitsu coach.
Why UFC though? Like what?
Why UFC?
Was it a fighter you saw? Was it, because it's a brutal thing. Like
Yeah.
I fought amateur boxing, but I couldn't imagine taking a knee to the face.
Right.
I couldn't imagine getting an elbow.
So while I was still in college, I had a roommate who was a UFC fan. And the first time I put on MMA gloves was around him. The first MMA fight I ever watched was around him. And I remember he would show us little jiu-jitsu moves after wrestling practice, and all the wrestlers, you know, it was just so taboo to us. But somewhere subconsciously, I made MMA a secondary option for me, a backup plan. If my dreams and goals didn't work, I would try cage fighting because it was just so much closer to, it was so close to what I knew and being a wrestler. And so, you know, long story short, a lot of things weren't happening well in my life fresh out of college. I dropped out, I had a baby on the way, and I felt like my life was going downhill real quick. And I just decided to save myself by dreaming bigger and reaching for some stars. And so I walked into an MMA school with the mindset of being the best in the world. And having a baby on the way, I had a mindset of like, I can't fail. I got one option, and that's to be a very successful MMA fighter, or else it's being a janitor or doing something.
But this mindset of like, I've heard you talk about teaching yourself self-belief.
Yeah.
Was it not something you were born with, but it was something that you had to change your mind of thinking that you could do anything?
Yeah, it was something that I had to teach myself. Right around age 19 years old, I just found myself just in a bad spot in life, and I joined the MMA school, and I found some talent in it, and I knew that I didn't want to just be an MMA fighter. I knew that I wanted to be the best in the world, but I wasn't the most confident young man. And so I hopped on YouTube, and I hopped on things like TED Talks, and I would just look up everything about being a person of faith, confidence, even things about charisma. You know, I would just study everything that I wasn't. And I put in hours and hours and hours, and I took lots of notes, and I just watched my world slowly start to change. My demeanor, my confidence level, and the things that I expected for myself, the things that I genuinely believed that I could be and I could do, started to happen. And year after year, my world started to become better and better.
I know that, of course, your father instilled faith in your life from the day that you were born, but in your own personal life, when did you know that God was real in your experience?
Ooh, when did I know that God was real? Well, one of the early stories I remember was I fell off a deck when I was a kid, and I was drowning, and my mom ran up and saved my life. She could just see the white from the palm of my hand, and she reached down and pulled me out of the water. And the way she told the story was that she had no clue how she actually found me in that dark, murky water, but she just ran up right to the spot and saved my life. So that's one of the early examples of me being here, where I possibly didn't have to be here still. So that's an early story. And then I feel like God has just been showing me that he's real throughout the course of my life. Throughout the course of my life, with just little things, with the level of grit that he's allowed me to have, and perseverance, and positivity. And there's just been so many times where I've just felt his presence.
Look up for me real quick.
Lots of times. And it hasn't, it's not that my life's just been so easy and just so good. I just choose to be drawn closer to him no matter what happens. Like, I've lost my mom to diabetes. I lost my sister to cancer. And there's been times in my life where you just want to ask God why and even turn your back on God. But despite how hard things get for me, I've always drawn closer to him. Like when things go wrong, I draw closer to him. When I've gotten arrested for certain things in my life, I draw closer to him. And I think that's how he shows me that he's real. It's just my ability to be so in love with him and still be here.
Mm-hmm. First of all, sorry for your mom, for your sister. The pain lasts forever, man. Like those are things that, you know, they never really heal. You never feel the same when you go through losses like that. So
have you had anything similar to that?
My grandma just died last month.
Oh, I'm so
my grandma
sorry.
just died last month, but I come from a very small family. You know, my mom's from Russia and my dad's Puerto Rican.
Okay.
So my mom is
what a combination.
My mom is an immigrant from Russia, and my dad is from Boston. He grew up real tough in East Boston, man. Section 8, you name it. Lived in the projects his whole life, and going to the army was his way of making it out. So I've seen my parents make so many sacrifices, and of course, I don't speak Russian, and I don't speak Spanish, which my parents know I'm so pissed about that both of my parents are bilingual, and they didn't give me either, and they're gonna blame it on me not wanting to go learn, but I'm like, yo, y'all should have just put it on me when I was young, man. But,
that's funny. I actually speak a little bit of Russian and a little bit of Spanish.
All right, well, seems like we might have to learn together.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, so we have a tight family. My mom's side is Russian, and, you know, her parents have both passed, and then on my dad's side, you know, it's the typical, you know, his dad left him. Him and his brothers have been, you know, stuck in Boston, the same neighborhood for their whole lives with my grandma, never moved out. It was just like, it's a tough spot. And then my grandma had just passed last month, and it was the first real immediate death that we have. You know, we don't have much extended family of a bunch of cousins and, you know, uncles and aunts. You know, we have my aunt down in Florida, but because my dad and his dad, you know, my grandpa had split, we only have each other.
How are you dealing with the death? What have you learned from it?
I just remember like that week, it doesn't feel real because we've never planned a funeral, and you know it's game time when you got to go do that. So there's not like a lot of room for grieving as you're trying to conduct the funeral. I'm flying out every single family member that could be there. I didn't know that everything was sold separate for a funeral. I didn't know that the headstone place was separate, the graveyard was separate, the casket is separate, the church for the service is separate. So my dad and I are just trying to pull it all together. And more than anything, I just wanted to be there for my dad. Like I wanted to make sure that my dad was okay. And as tough as he is, as being an army guy, nobody wants to lose your mom, man.
No.
So, you know, there for Pops, really.
No one could ever prepare you for that type of loss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I commend you for the strength that you showed your family.
Of course, and you too, bro.
Yeah, funerals. I'm very familiar with funerals, man. I have, you know, I've paid for a lot of people's funerals. People that I don't even know in this community. I've paid for about 5 funerals so far. Just underprivileged people who needs it. And it's a sad thing. It's a really sad thing, and something that you never want to become numb to, you know?
Bro, I have such a terrible relationship with death. I'm so scared of it, and I don't know. I've always been like that, and I don't know. I don't know if it ever gets like really normal. Like I'm scared to die. I'm just being real.
Yeah, that's funny. A lot of people are afraid to die. I feel like that fear goes away the more that relationship.
Of course, I trust the afterlife. I trust the plan. I trust what that is. I love life, and we're not taught to love the flesh more than we're gonna love the kingdom. And like I know that day's gonna come. I know where I'm going, but dog, I just feel like I have such a purpose. I want to fulfill it. I just want to fulfill it every day that I wake up. Like I'm hungry for that.
The funny thing is, and you know, not to take this and make it just this big spiritual interview, but I feel like with the way that you live your life, I feel like that you're affecting so many people that you may not even be realizing. And in heaven, our currency is how many lives have you changed? That's our true currency. And I mean, if you keep this track up, by the time you're an old man cutting hair and spreading wisdom, I think God's gonna be really happy with you, man.
That means a lot.
You're not a person who should fear death.
That means a lot.
In an industry where I feel like everybody's charging more and more every year, I see you giving more and more free haircuts away every year. What made you decide to go that route of just donating your time and energy to others?
You know, when I hear you talk about teaching yourself self-belief at a young age, I feel like you're telling my story at the same time. You know, when I was young, I thought about what I was gonna do to go to college. I thought about what I was gonna do to pay for my own things. And my dad taught me early at a young age the value of a dollar and earning your own and providing for your family. I've always taught to be a provider and a leader. So I remember running track and cross country middle school. And I remember my coach telling me that long distance running was a mental thing. And if you came ready on race day, mentally more than the next person, then you can beat somebody faster than you if you're just ready mentally. So from there, I was like, I bet I'm gonna be more ready. I might not be fast. I'm short, I don't got long legs, but mentally, I wanna be more ready than anything. And I fell in love with the power of a voice and a raw voice and just being able to speak, to capture somebody and instill confidence in them and show them what's possible. So motivational speaking was just like, I was in love with it. Eric Thomas, Les Brown, all these guys like
Tony
Robbins, Inky Johnson, you name it, like these guys just captured me. So I would walk through the high school hallways listening to motivational speeches in my ear. Everybody's probably listening to rap and other things, but I'm all day, motivation. So I taught myself this self-belief as well. And I always felt that God had blessed my voice before he blessed my hands. And I wanted to be this voice, but I didn't think anybody would actually ever want to hear it from me. I was like, man, I just look weird. I'm this like white kid. My voice sounds weird on camera. Like, it's not gonna work for me. So I came to Atlanta real quick. When you shave this, do you use a shaver? Do you get it like smooth?
Yeah, I get it down.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. So, I came to Atlanta and I had this dream of being, a barber and being a successful celebrity barber and inspiring kids that, you can make it in whatever it is that you love. Yeah. And that was the goal. And then, I found myself in Atlanta charging $100 a haircut and cutting every rapper, every celebrity that came through. And I felt that I was this cool thing to look at online, but I felt that it wasn't the most realistic thing to show everybody. So when the pandemic happened and we could no longer cut hair, I feel like God sat us down to look within and think about what else that we have. In that time, I felt called to use my voice. I felt called to inspire. I made small videos, just talking motivation on my Instagram. And then there was a quote that changed my life in that time. And I was waiting to ask you this, but I think it's a good time. The quote was, don't let what you're good at define who you are, but who are you if you can't do what you're good at? So I'm like, okay, Victor Fontaine is this barber. This is great. I could give this to everybody, but God forbid I lose my hands and I can't provide this anymore. What else do I have for the world? And I had to really rethink about what I could do. And I was like, yo, speaking is it. You'd have to kill me to stop talking. So when I got out of the pandemic, I'm like, yo, I'll make my own stage to talk, which is this barber chair today.
Yeah.
And that's where I came up with this idea. Like, I could give this free haircut and I can make this about the conversation. And I hope that I show people what really matters in this world is just connecting with others.
Where'd you develop the grit? Because you talked about being, a white guy, in a more urban community. You talked about how dealing with the struggle of feeling like people wouldn't want to hear what you had to say. And obviously you had to show up. And I'm sure you've been turned down a lot of times by a lot of people. I didn't let no white guy cut my hair, all that stuff. So where'd you develop that grit? Like, were there things that went wrong in your life that you had to fight through?
Bro, I don't have a crazy struggle story. I don't portray it. I'm like this guy from the hood.
Like, because you don't need to.
Dog, I had great parents that came from nothing for me to have an opportunity to do something. And I grew up in Fayetteville, North Carolina, which, is a town that not a lot of people have an option to make out of. And there aren't a lot of options to get out of there. It's where J. Cole is from, the greatest rapper of all time. And, I was scared of being one of the guys stuck in the Ville. I was scared of being... I used to work in a restaurant and I was scared of being the guy stuck in the back of the restaurant. And, everybody has a path, but I was just, I always felt that I was going to be destined for something. I always felt like that.
Always.
And I don't want to leave this earth without knowing I didn't give it my all. I can't. I have to know that I gave it everything. I like, no matter what it was. So I looked at barber and I looked at all the other things with success online. I'm like, I could do this. And there's a lot of kids out here that love other things. I feel like they can never be celebrated, but this could be my thing. And the first time I heard the voice of God was him telling me to take barbering serious and it will open doors for me. So when I heard the voice of God tell me that, I was too scared to see my life without it. And I just wanted to prove it to myself that I am who I believe I am. And more than anything, God showed it to me. So
you're even more. You're more than what you realize you are. Hey, last question. I know you're supposed to be interviewing me. And I'm sure you've gotten this question a lot, but how did that Barack Obama
come about? Like, how did that happen? Did he discover you? Did you reach out to him?
Yeah, bro. I mean, man, first of all,
And what was that like?
cutting the greatest president of all time, you know, it was a moment of my life, bro. And it was something that I could never make it that far in my dream. I could never have pictured that would happen. And man, it was election time coming up, bro. And I seen, you know, I mean, you know, the landscape of how we get news out is just social media.
Right.
That's what it was. And I wanted to stand for something, and I wanted to use my voice. And I was on a red carpet for a variety of events, and yeah, you know, they asked me who's my dream guest. And I was like, Barack Obama. Like, as a barber, like, who is higher than that?
Yeah.
Who, like, what man in history would I have one chance to cut that I want to? Barack Obama. It was like 4 months of emailing and going back and forth and meetings and meetings and meetings. And I didn't get the approval that it would happen till 24 hours before.
Wow,
And
no way.
I knew that he was coming for the rally in Atlanta. I knew that it was election time, and I knew it was going to be important to have a conversation that matters. And dude, we fought for months to make that happen. And I remember 24 hours before, they were like, yo, Vic, they emailed us and said, if this is going to happen, then you got to go meet the Secret Service right now. Wow. And I dropped everything that I was doing. I met the Secret Service at a location. We did the brief, we talked, and yeah, they confirmed it that night. So I had 24 hours to put this interview together. And it was just, you know, dude, it's just, I cry when I think about it. I get emotional when I think about it. And yeah, I never got that far, man, in my dreams.
Life-changing.
What you think? You want anything trimmed down more?
Bro, I feel good.
Did I do as good as your barber, Paulie? Which I need to shout out the best barber in New Mexico right over here, man. So
Paulie's been great to me, man. He's been cutting me up for years.
He's the best, man.
I'm a loyal guy. And I usually don't get my hair cut by anybody else, but this is a great cut. Where'd you say you were? Atlanta?
Atlanta, man. I'm in the A.
I'm gonna have to come on through.
If you in the A, you home, man. You got a spot in my chair always.
I got one more question for you, Vic. What would you say your message is to the world?
Brother, stay planted. You know, when you stay planted and you're really rooted in what you believe in, a tree stands tall through all 4 seasons. Through summer, fall, winter, and the spring comes back around and you grow again. So if you believe in what you're doing is what you're meant to do, then keep your roots in the ground. And summer will be here, you'll flourish, you have great years. Fall come around, you look different, you're going through things, you look in the mirror, you may not recognize who you are, you're talking different, you're dressing different, and then you might go through winter and lose everything. You might be in a season of depression. Every leaf falls off the tree in winter. But if you stay planted, spring comes around again, don't it? And what happens to a tree every year? When spring comes, you grow another ring, you get stronger. So the strongest trees in the world aren't in the toughest dirt. They're in the strongest winds. They stand tall. You know, so stay planted is my message, man. And this shit is all possible, bro. Everything, man. So
Beautifully said, man.
Thinking about that too, like, did you ever imagine you would get this far in your dreams?
I came from almost nothing. Believing that you can be somebody was something that was taught to me. But once I learned that the difference between him and I was just between the ears, once I was equipped with that, I started to believe that the sky was truly the limit for me. And I'm still that person today. I joined the team not knowing anything about fighting. The first team I was on, everybody had been fighting for many years. And I was a young adult when I started, sorry. And then it was to be the best fighter in New York State. And then it was to be the best American fighter. And then it was to be to beat Chuck Liddell's record. And now, people consider me one of the greatest fighters who's ever lived. Considering Bruce Lee, Muhammad Ali, and Mike Tyson. That's all great company. And, people consider me the #1 fighter who's ever lived. I would have never imagined it, but my belief is so high in me now that it's like, of course, that's how I feel now. Like, of course, I'm the best. I feel, of course, I can do more. And I don't say that in an arrogant way. I just know that I have the wisdom, I have the team, I have the faith in myself, I have the faith in God, and I've surrounded myself with a winning formula. So I'm very confident in this formula.
I mean, it's very unseen that somebody could start MMA training and within 3 years, you're UFC champion of the world. When you became champ, did it rock your world? Did it change? Did you feel the overnight change?
Yeah, it did rock my world. It was just so exciting at first. I remember it being so exciting, and
just getting to travel the world, meet people, and to teach others. I had a lot of bad friends, a lot of, being invited to the party, the alcohol, the partying, and all that. I went down that loop. Had to learn how to prioritize friends, and just be in the right circles. And yeah, there was a lot of good that came from it, a lot of bad that came from it, but just a lot of life, man. It was a wild journey.
There's a lot of young kids that are looking up to you and relate to what you've gone through. And I remember hearing you in an interview say that you don't regret the bad times because it makes you more human and relatable, because everybody fucks up.
Absolutely.
And to have this expectation that you have to be perfect on camera because you're champ, because you're Jon Jones, and you can't mess up, is that you feel more connected to others because you did. And how were you able to give it one more day when you felt like you couldn't?
I do feel like my mishaps makes me way more relatable. My father's a pastor. He wasn't a guy who went through Bible college and was a goody two-shoes his whole life. My dad was considered himself a pimp at one point. My dad was a drug dealer. My dad got in countless amount of street fights. But when his life changed, his ability to relate and talk to others, and when he says, "I know what you're going through. I know how you feel," I mean, he meant it, And I kind of carry that same thing. I've been through so many terrible situations throughout my career, but it's matured me in a way, and it makes me very relatable. I mean, anybody who knows my story, they know that I've been through some stuff.
Of course.
But the true blessing and the true testimony in the whole thing is, look at him now. Look at the man that he's become now. I think people respect you more knowing what you had to overcome. And I think your question was like, what kept me going?
Yeah, how do you give it one more day when you feel like you can't?
I feel like suicide, depression, mental health, things like that for us men, it's a real big thing. And I feel like people don't talk about it. And there's so many young men out there who has had these moments in their life where they feel like they just can't go on. They just feel like, I've messed up so big this time. I've humiliated myself so big this time, where they just give up, And I know being a face of such a manly sport, it's my obligation to show not just American men, but men around the world what grit looks like, what strength looks like, what not giving up looks like. I've had so many people tell me, man, I wanted to kill myself. And when I saw the way you completely made an ass of yourself and came back and won a championship again, it helped me to fight another day. So when I hear messages like that from young men and women, it just gives me more strength. It's just like, Jon, no matter what you go through, you can't quit. And not only can you not quit, but you have to thrive, to show people that the worst of the worst, the baddest of apples, can turn around and be huge inspirations in this world.
Absolutely.
Even biblically, the people that God used were some of the worst sinners, and they had some of the best stories at the end. And so that's one of my goals, is to be one of those people who is far from perfect, but completely used to do some good in this world.
You know what they say, man? The one that hasn't sinned, cast the first stone.
Yes, and no one should be throwing anything. Right?
Cast the first stone.
Yeah.
I guess, like being champ so young, I feel like your career has been defined of being the champ. From 23 to now being 37, still champ today. Would you still love fighting the same way if you weren't champ?
No, I don't think I can ever be a person who loves fighting as a non-winner. For me, I'm so connected to winning. It's probably not even healthy. Like I see fighters that take losses and they smile and they hug their wives and they, hey, better luck next time. If I were to ever lose, I would be devastated. I'd be angry and I'd be upset and depressed. And that's just my winning nature. And for me, it's do it with all your heart, do it at the highest level, do it to the best of your ability, or don't do it at all.
Would you say you have an obsessive personality?
I think I have an obsessive personality for sure.
I feel like you have a gift of hyper focus, and even the IQ that you carry, the way that you study, the way that you look at things. Is that something that you feel like you've always had, this hyper focus type of personality to lock in on things like that?
I think I've develop that personality trait over time. I felt so many times throughout my upbringing that that it takes pure focus and discipline to get the things that you want out of life. And in high school and in middle school, I had terrible grades. I never did my homework. I would skip class. I was one of those young men. And it showed. You know, my brothers both went Division I. I was a junior college guy. Both my brothers graduated. I was a dropout. So I think I got to a point in my life where I had to really look myself in the mirror and realize that I'm responsible for how my life turns out. They say the way you're born is not your fault, but the way you die is your fault.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And so,
Are you a rapper?
no, that's funny. Bars. Bars. That's funny, right? So, so it was a taught behavior to me to just do everything in my adult life that I wasn't doing in high school.
Yeah.
And to get a better result. A guy who was never a team captain, never looked at as a leader or anything like that. Now I have millions of people around the world. And, you know, I have his own team now and I have businesses and things like that. So, so I've definitely trained myself that you can't take shortcuts as an adult and expect to have a great life.
What do you think has surprised you the most about your journey?
It's really how far it's gone now. I think that is surprising me because, like I said, growing up, I really didn't feel like a special individual, but the world is definitely showing me that I'm a special person. And it's surprising because I've always viewed myself as average. And so if an average person like me can get his head straight and get in the game of life and play it well and win, then I imagine what some of these other beautiful human beings could do.
Yeah.
Put their head in the game.
Such a long journey, and so many times you have to show up and be great and dig deep and find things to push you forward. And I mean, staying champ that so long, how do you stay so motivated? Where are you grabbing motivation at today if you are one of the most accomplished, if you are the GOAT, if you are at the top of the food chain?
I try to grab motivation from people outside of my field, because in the MMA space, I've become a member of a lot of people's Mount Everest, right? So in my own space, I try to be inspired by the people who are better than me in categories. For example, more of a humanitarian, or just a better class act, or gives back more, or you know, connects with his fans better. Like there's fighters that do things better than I do. Like guys like Conor McGregor, you know, he's just so good on the mic and just, so I become inspired by my peers. I'm never jealous of anyone. I'm always inspired by my peers. How can I become closer to him in this category? And then in categories where I'm already the leader, I look outside of my profession. I look at military groups, these truly hardworking people who aren't getting the credit that they deserve. I look at Tom Brady and LeBron Jameses and the Michael Phelps and the Michael Jordans I look at the great yourself being one of the leaders, and
I gotta clip that for the rest of my life.
I mean, come on, dude. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a barber that is taking what you're doing to such a platform.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
So I look at my peers, and I try to take from what they're doing right.
God, is there anything that you study so non-related to fighting that helps you become a better fighter? Do you, like, some guys watch sharks attack, they watch animals, they watch soccer, other sports. Like, do you ever grab inspiration outside of the ring that helps you be a better fighter?
The two things that I really enjoy outside of fighting that I feel helps my mentality, I love studying military groups, and I love studying the male lion. The male lion I've watched for many years. I have photos of male lions all throughout my house. They're territorial.
I got a lion tatted on my chest.
They can lounge around and appear almost lazy until it's actually time to work. And they're just the king. I like what they represent. They're not the biggest, but they have the mentality, and they're ferocious. And so I really love the male lion. I've watched hours of lions just like attacking things that's so much bigger than them, and through their persistence and grit, eventually they get that bull to the floor. And so I carry that same mentality
And then military groups. Sometimes I get so exhausted training for another training camp, another world title. Sometimes my body hurts and I just feel over it. And then I remind myself that there's men and women out there that don't get the fame, don't get the paycheck, don't get the sponsorships, don't get massages in between workouts. They don't get Gatorade and ice cold water. They don't get any of that stuff. And they do what they do for their country with a lot of pride. And so that gives me the strength to fight one more day.
I admire the way that you're able to adapt so many times, and I think your fight IQ separates you from everybody. The way that you're able to adapt. Was there ever a time that you've prepared for a fighter, that you've studied, gotten into the ring with, and everything you studied was out the window?
Oh, everything I studied was out the window?
Has it ever just gone left? Have you ever just had the game plan, got in there, and it just...
I fought against Alexander Gustafsson the first time, and at the time he was getting so much so much hype around him, and I looked at Alexander as being quite frankly, a white version of me. Mm-hmm. He was tall, he had a swagger, he had this great footwork, he had great boxing. I just felt like he's a lot like me. He has the same reach as me and everything, but I was like, he's not me. And that fight, I partied a lot leading into that fight. I studied a lot, I trained a lot, but I had this knowing that I was gonna win, and it was at an all-time high. And in that fight, things did not go the way I expected. I mean, I couldn't stop his jab. I hadn't prepared for a low jab. He was jabbing me to the stomach. I had never prepared for that. He was a lot more confident than I expected him to be. He was in my face, and he was a person who was expecting to win. And I had to pull from something that I didn't realize that I had. I had a tenacity and a resilience and a grit that I didn't realize that I had. It was the first time that I seen my mother crying over my bed. Backstage, they put me on morphine, and the morphine was making me shake profusely, and my lips were swollen. I couldn't talk, I couldn't eat, couldn't use the bathroom on my own. And that was one of the fights where I really realized how seriously I had to take each and every opponent, that I could never get too big for my bridges, because there's always somebody that's nipping at our toes, you know. So that fight taught me a lot about the seriousness of preparation.
I mean, you came back in the second fight and
dominated
you
him.
Didn't want to leave any question
Whooped
to the
ass,
answer.
Quite frankly. Yeah, tore him up. Yeah, that second fight was great. It was great.
Everybody studies your film.
Yeah.
You are the #1 target.
Yes.
Everybody's looking at you under a microscope.
Yep.
So how are you staying so fresh? How are you staying so ahead?
I really credit God for a lot of it. I look at other athletes who are withstanding the test of time, guys like LeBron, guys that just continues to keep going. I know that with modern day supplements and nutrition, recovery protocols and things like that, that is all just very possible to continue. I have this attitude. I had a coach that says, John, do it because you can. Because you can. You're the guy to do it. Who else to do it, right?
Yeah.
So I've always had that attitude. It's like, winning one more championship, who else is gonna do it? You know what I mean? Like, striving for this level of breaking records or greatness in our sport, who else is gonna do it? You know, so I feel like as you become ahead of the pack, it's now our mission to be the first to take this sport to a whole new stratosphere.
Wow.
And I kind of have that feeling now. But instead of being just a champion fighter, now my approach is be one of the leaders in business. You know, we have guys like Conor McGregor, who's clearly on a different atmosphere when it comes to business as a fighter. But to be the greatest MMA fighter who will transition into being a brilliant businessman, that would be a first. Because Conor was a great fighter, but to be the best fighter and to be an extraordinary businessman, I want to show these young fighters that you can get after it all, in the cage and in business. And like you're a great barber. I feel fresh, but now you're taking yourself to a whole
you know, just
new
like
level.
I imagined that I wanted to be the guy to take it somewhere we've never seen it before.
Yep.
And I feel like that's why God told me if I took it serious with open doors, and I wanted to put it at a place that we've never seen it before.
Do you feel that feeling of like, who else is gonna do this? Who else is gonna represent?
I just think it's me. I think it's me. I think I won't wait for anybody to save me, to save us, to push it there. I will do it. And I'll make sure that I leave this earth knowing that I gave it everything to do it.
Bro, you're doing it too, man.
Yeah, thank you.
I've told people that I'm interviewing with you, and I might as well say freaking Michael Jordan's coming to town. Like you have a serious fan base.
It's surreal,
I didn't realize
bro.
a barber could be a star.
Bro, from God, I can't even put into words how I feel about this journey, man. Does life after fighting scare you?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I've had a very controversial career, and I've taken lots of breaks throughout my UFC career. Like to go from light heavyweight to heavyweight, I took off a solid 3 years. I just vacated my belt. No one asked me to do it, prompted me to do it. I just decided to do it. And so I have had a healthy amount of time being John Bones Jones in my adult life, but I also have had a healthy amount of time just being Jonathan, without the belt, without the fame, without the glitz. Even living in a community like this helps ground me and keeps me humble. So no, I'm not afraid of me.
No, do you ever, like I imagine, even for my dad at work, I wonder sometimes, you did 28 years in the Army and you're not in the Army no more. And my question in my quote before, don't let what you're good at define who you are, but who are you if you can't do what you're good at? So who is Jon Jones without MMA?
So Jon Jones without MMA is Jonathan. I made it throughout high school and college without MMA. I was always a loving, kind person without MMA. And that's the person that I am at my core. I'm a person who gives a crap about other people, want to see everybody do well, want your friends to come up, try to bring as many people up as I can. I'm trying to make as many people millionaires as I can in my time in life. I'm trying to introduce as many people to God as I can before my time is over. My kids are great kids at school. They're not bullies. They encourage other people. They're great teammates. I think they're going to turn out to be great college teammates and great wives one day. Great father, great lover, provider, protector. That's who I am outside of MMA. And a great friend. Any of my friends need anything, I'm a lifeline. I'll come and help you in any way I can. And that's who I am outside of MMA. And I'm happy when I look in the mirror. I like the guy that I see.
Yeah, I love that. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
I love hearing that. It is the worst feeling in the world when you look in the mirror and it's hard to look.
Yeah.
That is a tough feeling, and I commend you for saying that you could be happy looking in the mirror.
It's taken me a long time to be able to say the things that I'm saying right now.
Have you ever looked at yourself and seen the celebrity champ of Jon Jones and it scared you?
No. Well, I just remind myself that in the ring, they can only fight me one at a time. So I remind myself that sometimes I feel ganged up on, just being the target for so many young men to want to destroy one day.
Yeah.
I remind myself that they can only face me one at a time. And I remind myself that if I do the right things, there's nothing I can't overcome.
Yeah.
If I bring the right team of people and I put in everything that I got, then there's no one that we can't defeat. So that helps out. And then in life, when I'm maybe getting crushed by fans or something like that, or something didn't go right and I'm just getting a lot of backlash, I remind myself that the opinions that matter they have my cell phone number.
The players on the field don't listen to the people in the crowd. You listen to who's at war with you.
Exactly.
If you're on the football team, you're on the ground, your guys matter.
Exactly.
Right? You're not gonna hear the guy from the crowd tell you what play to run. You're gonna listen to the guys that are fighting with you and dying with you every day.
When you go home, how does your wife look at you? How does your kid look at you? How does your pets treat you?
Yeah.
How are your close friends?
By the way, I admire your dog.
I admire your dog.
We'll talk later. I admire your dog.
That's a great dog.
Yo, do you feel any anxiety when you walk to the octagon anymore? Is there any other butterflies in the stomach? What's going through the head? What's going through your head?
Anxiety? My last two fights, I've felt really, really amazing. Against Cyril Gain, my first heavyweight fight, I walked into the arena and I saw all these megastars on the walls. You know, you had Pink Floyd and Michael Jackson and Led Zeppelin and like all these performers who have been in these arenas before I got there. And I remember walking through the arena and I looked around and I thought to myself, John, you're the youngest champion in UFC history, meaning you've been in this predicament more than anybody else in the history of the sport. And I just felt like, man, John, you belong here. Who else? Who else is gonna do it?
You're not accidentally there.
Huh?
You're not accidentally there.
You're not accidentally there. You grew up here. You started as a 23-year-old and now you're almost 40, fighting for the biggest thing, the UFC belt, not any fight, but the biggest fight. I've fought the #1 contender my whole career. And so the fear has been lost. The fear has been lost, yeah, for sure. And even my last fight against Stipe Miocic, I just felt, someone gave me a quote a long time ago. They said, walk into a room as if God sent you there. Like you genuinely belong there, God sent you there. And when I'm at work with the UFC, I feel as if God sent me there. And that's the way I've felt for a very long time. And it allows me to have a higher level of timing. My senses are higher when I'm at work. The belief is just through the roof.
I want to talk about your transition to heavyweight, right? Lightweight, heavyweight for a long time. Going to heavyweight, I've watched, what you had to go through with your body, the different types of training. And was transitioning to heavyweight something that you wish you did earlier?
No, it's not something I wish I did earlier. I talked about it from the beginning stages of my career that, one day I would be a heavyweight champion. And I think I was just talking it into existence and speaking it into existence. I know it was a goal of mine. It's been a goal, but it's not something that I wish I'd done earlier. I think everything has its time, and that transition came at a really good time for me.
Was it hard to get into the mentality that now you're heavyweight and maybe the way that you attack, the way that you fight is different? Or are you still lightweight, heavyweight John in your head sometimes?
So in my mind, I'm still the same exact person. The moves that I attempt aren't moves that you would see a heavyweight go for. For example, my last fight, to finish Stipe Miocic with a spinning back kick, you don't see heavyweights throwing spinning back kick. So I still have the same mentality as a light heavyweight. The way that I train with the swimming and sprints, I do things that big guys try to stay away from. I do things that make most people uncomfortable. I dive into the uncomfortable. Another favorite quote is be comfortable being uncomfortable. And so where heavyweights tend to rely on their power and that one punch knockout, I rely on my heart. I rely on my endurance and going the long road. So I'm very much still a light heavyweight in my mind. But now I have the physique of a heavier guy, and it shows in my fighting. I don't fight anything like the rest.
What is your favorite strike? And then, bro, the elbow.
Yeah, I
like the elbow. Oh my God, I feel like you put the elbow on the map. I've never seen somebody elbow the way that you do.
I enjoy throwing elbows only because my arms are so long. And when you have, we think about guys like Mike Tyson or Tank Davis. They have short arms, and I think it allows them to generate more power, being short and a little brick like that. Long, gangly guys like myself, we just aren't as powerful. And so in training and in fights, I would realize when the guys were close to me, my uppercut and my left hook, these are my shorter range weapons. They just weren't as effective as the more muscular, stockier guys. And so I figured, well, let me just throw elbows instead, because now I can get that short man's torque. And it's just worked out for me. I realized that when I would start throwing knees and elbows, guys would respect my power more and start backing up.
Is that your favorite strike?
My favorite strike, as of today, would be the spinning back kick. That same move that I hit Lyoto Machida with. I do it really well from both stances, but when I'm standing southpaw and I shoot my left leg to the stomach, it's devastating. I heard a few teammates leading up to my last fight, and I knew that when I landed on Stipe that it would be one of the more devastating things that I did to him, and it stopped the fight.
Did you plan for that to be the strike on Stipe?
Yeah, I did plan for that to be the winning move against Stipe. I hired a Taekwondo coach about a half a year before the event, and three times a week for half of a year, we would meet up and we would do that one kick over and over and over again. And so I've logged in hours doing one move, and sure enough, it's paid off. I had friends tell me that they had dreams and visions and things that I would spinning back kick them, and it was just more reassurance to me that
You really manifested that one.
yeah, I'm a big believer in manifestation.
What is your favorite submission?
Favorite submission, I like to choke. I like choking, whether it's a rear naked choke or a guillotine choke or a Darce choke or I fought this guy Lyoto Machida.
The way that you dropped Machida
Yeah.
with that standing guillotine.
It was kind of like a guillotine, but honestly, I had just made it up. It just felt right. It wasn't actually a guillotine. People call it a standing guillotine. I guess it would be closest to being a guillotine, but it was just really like I just grabbed his neck. It was like a neck crank. It was wild because
The way that he dropped was,
it's wild, huh?
oh my
I
God.
got a bunch of hate mail after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, mainly people from Brazil. They were just like, how classless of you to choke a man standing on his feet and to drop his lifeless body to the floor. And I'm just like, what sport do you think you're watching here? And when you knock out a person, there's two men standing, or women. You knock out a person, one falls to the floor and has to hit the canvas. So I'm like, what do you expect me to choke him out and place him down nicely? No.
Do you have any
fall to
mercy in the
floor.
ring?
No, I have zero mercy in the ring. I was taught by one coach. He's like, I'm a fighter who stumps other fighters' kneecaps, and a lot of people find that to be slightly unsportsmanlike, and you could cause somebody a career-ending injury doing that. But the way that I was trained was like, hey, if somebody's punching you in the brain, your memory starts to subside, your ability to pronunciate words starts to subside. He's trying to give you brain damage. Why not give him a limp for the rest of his life? So it's a very dog-eat-dog world inside of the octagon. And I think you kind of have that mentality. You have to have that mentality going in there or else you'll get hurt. Same thing with military. You know, those guys can't be friendly to the enemy. You just can't. After the event, you know, buy the guy a beer, wish him all the best. But during the event, it has to be eat or be eaten.
Why do you make no eye contact with the people that you fight?
That's funny. That's a good question. Yeah, so during weigh-ins, I tend to never look the guy in the eye, and or during our first face-offs, and it's just to let them know that it's not personal. That it's not personal. That I just feel like they are a pawn in this board game, and as much as I respect them leading into the event, as much as I study them and train very hard for them, and I take them very seriously, I'm looking past them, I'm looking into my future because I believe that it's already done. The victory is already mine because I've put in the work. And so it's not personal. I just believe that I'm better and I've earned it, and I'm looking past them already.
Do you believe winning the fight before you step into the octagon?
I do, yeah. I do believe that fights are won and lost way before the actual night of the event, for sure. That was a Muhammad Ali quote, I was just saying, like the championships are won on the road, not under the lights. And that is true. I do everything in my power to win. I try to hire as many people as I can. I'm not afraid to invest in myself. I'm not afraid to ask other people for help.
Do you think the mental warfare is a playing factor? Because I mean, man, if you didn't, I could imagine the people want you to look at them at the weigh-in.
Yeah.
They want you to look at them. They want you to feel them. But I'd be pissed if you didn't look at me until you started coming to punch me.
Right, like look at me. No, I'm definitely big into the mental warfare for sure. There's nothing that messes with a fighter head more than when an athlete feels as if his opponent knows him as well as his coaches know him. Like I dig into a person's personality. I dig into their tendencies, their psychology. I dig into how many kids they have, like all that type of stuff. And when you're sitting across from your opponent and you tell them, oh, you started fighting when you were this old, and oh, you lost your coach back in this year, or you can't stick with one team, or you're left-handed, and when you flinch, your head goes to the left, and when you kick, it's primarily with your right leg, and you like to. And when you talk to an athlete like that, and he feels like this dude really knows everything about me, it's intimidating. It's very intimidating.
For sure.
Yeah, it's
For sure.
Yes.
There's no doubt in that.
Uh-huh.
What matchup do you think that you had that brought out the worst
The worst
of you? Like the
the
worst
worst?
version of yourself?
As far as like not competing at the highest level, or just
I would say like the guy that just had you most fired. Like you,
angry?
You were angry. This guy got you.
Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier and I swear, like, he's aged me in a certain way. Like, I fight out of love. I do what I do surely out of love. I love this gift. The opportunity, the fans, the money, everything. I just love it. But with Daniel Cormier, I think there was a hatred that came out for the first time.
Wow.
Where I just couldn't imagine losing to this man. And I mean, I remember I got extra workouts on Christmas Day just because I hated him at the time so much and couldn't imagine losing to him. It drove me to beating him, but I never want to operate out of that energy.
Wow.
Yeah,
That brought you, man. That brought you somewhere you didn't want to be.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I know he feels the same way about me as well. Like, and I've heard him say it during an interview. Like, I genuinely hated John Jones, and it was stressful. And that training camp took a long time, and it probably took a few years off of our lives, just operating out of so much hate.
Oh, as a fan, thank you for that.
Yeah.
You gave us one of the most legendary, like battles that we've ever seen. Like that was,
It's good stuff.
God,
It's
bro,
good to watch.
history.
It was good to watch, but
It's great. Yeah,
not
it
that
was
much
great
fun.
to watch. Not from. I'm sure it wasn't as fun.
We get a leaked behind the scenes moment where I was literally telling him that I was going to kill him. I was telling him, he was telling me, we thought the cameras were off and we were still live, and he was like, "Are you next door?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm next door." And I'm like, "You still there, pussy?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm still here." He's like, "I wish you would let me next door so I could spit in your face." And I thought about how often I was seeing him face to face, and I was like, he could actually spit in my face at some point. We have way more media to do. And I told him, I was like, "Bro, if you do that, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'll absolutely kill you." And I really meant it. And that was too dark for sports and very real.
Have you ever caught an opponent outside of the media? Like I remember the video of Alex Pereira seeing Sean Strickland at the gas station. It was just like, Chama, like caught your ass outside.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen an opponent just out, just you guys?
I have. Daniel Cormier, we ran into each other. And thank God we both had our teams around us that kept us separated. That was the only fighter that I felt like, then we actually did fight in the MGM Grand in the lobby before our fight. So yeah, Daniel Cormier was one of those guys where on-site meant on-site. Anywhere, anytime. Hey, so you guys at home, I'm not sure if you know, my man Vic can box a little bit. My man got some hands.
I got some good movement.
I rolled up on you today and actually put the hands up right away, and I was shocked.
Oh, I said as soon as you walked in, I was gonna put them up.
Yeah, I was shocked, my man. The stance, the jab, the speed, don't mess with you.
Nah. Well, how long do you think it would? We've gone through this before. My good friend Sean O'Malley. I took it easy on him when I went to his gym, but he got me in a little standing guillotine. But how long do you think it would take for you to make me tap out?
Oh, Vic, I would say probably.
And be realistic, man.
I would say probably about 45 seconds. Yeah, because if you're running around, I had to catch you
I
first.
won't run around. I'm not scared.
Okay, perfect. I had to get you down first, and I would say probably about 45 seconds to be realistic. What did Sean say?
Well, it took about 7 seconds.
It took 7.
I've never wrestled before. I went for the takedown.
That's funny.
I went for the takedown. I went for the one leg, and dude, Sean is so talented.
I was trying to be nice. Yeah, probably. Yeah, it'd probably be a lot faster. It'd probably be about 7 seconds. Probably 7 to 10, somewhere around there. Yeah.
We'll have to test it to find
Now
out.
that I have a point of reference, I'm like, yeah, 45. What was I thinking?
I think it's way longer than 7 seconds. It might be 45 or in between, but I will not go out of 7 seconds.
I'm sure you've had people try you over the years. How do you avoid that? How do you navigate through that? Like your haters and stuff like that.
Bro, I don't really it's what come with
Do you give-
territory.
yeah.
It's what come with territory.
Do you
And
kill with love, or what's the energy when it comes to that?
yeah, like, bro, nobody could take my heart. No hater in this world could make me think different of myself. I won't let another outside person that don't know me, that ain't been through nothing with me, that don't know me from a fucking can of paint, dog, convince me that I'm something I'm not. Like, I believe in myself. Like you said, how do you feel when you go home and your wife looks at you, right? I know when I go home, the people love me that I love, and there's not a hater in this world that can make me rethink who I am, ever. And I think for other people that will chase something and will experience hate, it comes with territory. But if you know who you are, then you believe in that, you stand on that, and I won't let nobody else convince me otherwise.
It's wonderful.
Not at all.
I heard recently that you have a jailhouse barbershop that you're trying to get started.
We're putting the first barber school in a prison in California at Valley State Prison. It's been a project that we started 4 years ago that is coming to fruition this year. Very excited. I got a meeting next week with the warden of the prison and my partner Scott Budnick, who has changed thousands of lives. I can't even, man. You know, he's the one that had gotten Kim Kardashian into prison reform and has brought so many guys. Justin Bieber started a recording studio in the Chicago prison with Common. I mean, this guy Scott has changed the law in California for minors that so they can't get the death sentence. Minors in California cannot be given the death sentence because of Scott Budnick and his team at ARC. Not just him alone, but his amazing team at ARC, Anti-Recidivism Coalition. But we're finally coming into, you know, about to furnish that thing, build out the best school. What's it called? Hopefully Vic Lens Academy, man. You know, I hope that the brand I've built can give these guys on the inside a chance to come out, have some credibility, and know that they came through a place that was intentional and thought of and cared for.
You're gonna be getting the guys their barber's license in there?
Yeah, it's gonna be the first licensed barber school in a prison in California. They have cosmetology as an option for them, but they've never had a barbering as an option in California. And there are other barber schools that exist in prisons in other states, and specifically in California. I think, man, you know, the quote of give a man a fish he eats for the day, teach him how to fish he eats for the rest of his life. And for guys that are re-entering into society, bro, it is just each one teach one is what I feel like we're here for. And if I can give these guys a license, a tool, a skill, if we can as a team, because it's not just me, you know, like, man, how much impact can we bring, right? The guys that have been through things like you, that like us, that don't have perfect backgrounds, that can come out and say, hey, from experience, this is what I had to go through, and I hope you never get there. And now you're empowering this person with a haircut. They can come back to the same communities that they've been in hurting before and now help and uplift. And that's what I hope that we're gonna be able to do with this barber school.
It's wonderful, man.
Yeah, so we're coming into the end of, I mean, man, gosh, I could talk to you forever. I truly can. I could talk to you forever, man. And I'm so inspired for you, and I want to get to this end. And you know, my question, man, like John, 37, one of the most accomplished careers, man. What is ahead of you? What do you have left?
What's ahead of me? Man, a whole lot of life. A whole lot of life. I feel excited about this world that I'm living in. I'm excited to just do things right, man. To just help out others. To be the best father that I can be. To be the best man that I could be to my family. To inspire as many people as I can. To show athletes that we're more than athletes. Just in the way that we just be innovative and try to change the world in some way. Acting, that really brings me a lot of joy. I love it when I'm on set and you know, a producer or whoever it may be, just say that was absolutely perfect take. That makes me really excited. I love being the new guy, learning new things, you know? So that's really it, man. Just trying to be the best businessman I can be. I'm trying to prove to myself that I can be great in more than one field. Like trying to be really good on camera with acting next. And just try to inspire others and help other UFC fighters. Some of the ways where I went wrong as far as just pay and endorsements and what to look out for, and as far as the leeches and things like that, you know, just try to be a great mentor to some of these young guys that are coming up and make it to heaven.
Could we expect one more rodeo?
You know, I don't know what life holds as far as fighting and competing. I do feel like I'll be a lifelong martial artist, whether I'm coaching others or taking exhibition matches or things like that. There's a lot of great competition still in the UFC. I do view myself as more than a fighter. And being in my position, I feel like I have a lot more options than a lot of the other fighters as far as the ability to leave and return and things like that. And so right now, I'm just focusing on love, happiness, kindness. We're in the quarter century mark. And this year should be a really special year. So this year, I'm saying yes to more opportunities. Hence me being here, meeting you.
So grateful.
I'm glad that I'm doing this. I've been meeting so many great people. I'm saying yes to more opportunities. I'm traveling more. I'm consciously being kinder to people. And that's just the wave I'm on right now. It's just like love and kindness and peace, focusing on family and focusing on me, my aura.
Do you still love the game?
Do I love the game? I'll always love MMA. You know, somehow the universe made me one of the best at it, so I'll always love it. I'll always love it. Yeah.
God, I'm looking at you, right, and I see the feelings, bro. I see it. I see the love.
Yeah. It'll always be there. It changed my life. It gave me an opportunity to change my branch in our family tree, and so I'll always be greatly indebted to the sport.
100%. You left your mark here. You are an absolute legend.
Thanks.
And aside from the ring itself, you've shown a lot of people that there's still hope even in the darkest of times.
Yeah.
So I have a section of the show. It's called Quick Cuts. Fast questions, light.
All right.
You know, we got deep, man. We got there on the deep cut, but
For sure.
just answer these as we go, as you want to.
Oh boy.
Childhood celebrity crush.
Alicia Keys.
Ooh.
Alicia Keys. Yeah, yeah. Oh no. Get off my woman, bro.
Go. Watch out now. Watch out, bro. You
Wait.
smacked that hand a little too hard now, bro. Watch out, bro. It might be on site.
On site.
It might be on site.
That's my girl. Once you said ooh, like an agreement, so I was like, wait a minute, because that's low key my
Watch out,
wife.
man.
Low key my wife, Vic.
If you were stranded on an island and you had to survive with one other UFC fighter, who would you take to survive with you?
I would bring George St. Pierre, because not only is he tough, but he's intelligent.
GSP, baby.
He's a thinker.
You, Arthur, Chandler, step into the octagon. Who's walking out? For those that don't know, those are his two NFL professional
Super Bowl champion
brothers that claim they could beat John's ass. So just put it out there. Let's finish the debate between the brothers. If y'all three walked into the octagon and only one could walk out, who's walking out?
I feel as if it would be myself or Chandler. Chandler's just a freak of nature. He's massive. He's very athletic. It'd be myself or Chandler. Arthur thinks he can beat us, and that would be his downfall.
Sorry to Arthur.
Yeah, Arthur thinks he can beat us. That's his downfall.
If you could change one thing in the scoring system of the UFC, is there anything that you would change?
In the scoring system, no, Dana White recently switched the rules from 12 to 6 elbows being not illegal anymore. I got disqualified years ago doing a 12 to 6 elbow. Now that's not an illegal move anymore, and I'm really happy with that change. So
should the O be back on your record from the disqualification? If the move is legal now and you're the one that got disqualified for it, should you have that loss removed off your record?
The promoter in me says that O should be removed from my record. That way I could be truly marketed as an undefeated fighter. But the athlete in me knows that rules are the rules. And at the time, when I was disqualified, 12 to 6 elbows was illegal. So I broke the rule and I paid the cost by having a loss. It just is what it is. Can't cry over spilt milk.
I respect it. You gotta respect it. Character is everything. Who is the most underrated UFC fighter of all time?
The most underrated UFC fighter of all time. Underrated.
Gotta give somebody their flowers right now.
UFC fighter. Can we come back to that one?
We'll come back.
All right.
Who is the most overrated UFC fighter?
Overrated UFC fighter. That's funny. I could say his name, but it's really just because I don't like him. And saying his name gives him clout, which I also don't want to do. His initials are CC, and he's a total douchebag. And And if you watch the sport, I think people will know who I'm talking about.
Okay, we'll leave it at that.
Fair enough.
We'll leave names out. Give me your Mount Rushmore of fighters. Top 4 in this game.
Top 4. Demetrius Johnson, Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, and myself. In no specific order. I think we've all done really great things in the sport.
If you had to build your perfect fighter from 4 people, striking, grappling, cardio, fight IQ, build your dream fighter for me.
Okay, so fight IQ, I would start with myself. Striking, I would give to Anderson Silva. Cardio, I would give. Could I use myself again?
You can use yourself again.
I've never really gassed out in a fight. I really pride myself in outworking my opponents. Wrestling, I would go with George St. Pierre. Jiu-jitsu, I would go with Damian Maia. And boxing, I think Dustin Poirier has some pretty good hands. And Elias Topuria, he has some really good hands too.
Ilya has an amazing background in boxing.
Yeah, Ilya.
Great. Max Holloway, great boxer himself. What do you think about these wrestler and striker matchups that are happening right now? Because as a fan, we want to see exciting fights, but it just seems like the wrestling striking matchup, and we could look at Sean and Merab as an example of like, man, we want to see an exciting fight. And a true UFC fan is going to appreciate the jiu-jitsu and the wrestling, but these matchups, what are your opinion on finding exciting matchups in the UFC?
I think the traditional grappler versus striker conversation is always going to be a fun conversation to have, just because with Muay Thai and boxing, it's very popular here in America. And then you got things like jiu-jitsu and wrestling that's always going to be very popular. They both have huge fan bases and communities. And I think both fan bases are always going to want to see their fighter win. There's always going to be a boxer who feels like he can beat up a jiu-jitsu guy, and there's always going to be a wrestler who thinks he can beat up a Muay Thai kickboxer. And so it's always going to be an interesting conversation. And really, it depends on who mentally comes ready to go that night. There's lots of boxers that can beat up UFC fighters if they come in the right headspace. And there's lots of jiu-jitsu players that can beat up on a Muay Thai kickboxer. Yeah. It just depends on who brings the skill set that they know confidently, ready to win that night.
Yeah, and I'm Russian, so I love it. But the Khabib, the Islam, the Merab, and these foreign guys that are it seems like they're taking over UFC.
It does seem that way. I think countries have their moments in time. For a long time it was Brazilian fighters, and then I feel like I was a part of the American wave of champions. And right now it seems like a lot of the Dagestanis and the Russians are having their moment right now. And eventually it may be, who knows who's next, but I think fighting has their moments.
Who do you think is the next American great fighter?
Oh, I would have to say my personal dear friend, Gable Steveson. Gable wrestles for the University of Minnesota. He is a several-time national champion, I believe 2-time national champion, gold medalist, world champion. And when he puts his heart into punching and kicking people, he's gonna be a problem to deal with. I'm gonna personally try to introduce him to all my trainers and all the people that's helped me get to this point. I think he's double the athlete that I am, and he's gonna be scary in the future.
Yeah, you believe send your kid to Dagestan 2-3 years, forget
about him, right? Forget about him. That's funny.
Gosh, you said Ilya too. Like, do you think anybody has an answer for that guy?
I say time will tell. One thing that I know from experience, just being in the sport for so long, that it's difficult to win the belt. It's more difficult to live the lifestyle of a UFC champion and continue being a UFC champion. The fame and the press and the money and the girls and the alcohol and all of it, it doubles down on you. And very few people can handle it. So yeah. I actually do wish Elias all the support in the world. I know he has a great family, a great management team, and a great fight team and great friends.
He's a savage, bro.
I think he's
Islam's savage, bro.
I think he's gonna do the right things. But we'll see. It's always going to be a matter of time when it comes to people that have become
Yeah.
champion. It's a very hard thing to maintain.
So in the recent years, the calf kick is, I feel, a kick that has become more dominant and a thing that we haven't seen before. In UFC now today, what is a strike that you think a lot of people are sleeping on that is becoming more significant?
The calf kick has become really popular in recent years. It's a devastating technique. It definitely shuts people down right away. I've always said that one of the most underrated techniques in MMA is the jab. The jab, the basic jab, man. It's the fighters that utilize their jab, guys like Elias, guys like Poirier, some of our better boxers. I mean, they appear to be light years ahead of the MMA fighters just because really what it boils down to the jab. The jab sets up everything. Mm-hmm. And I would love to see the future of our sport lean into their boxing more. Mm-hmm. For all of us to have better hands, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna name these fighters and I want you to describe them in one word.
All right.
Conor McGregor.
Conor McGregor, a showman.
Khabib.
He's a leader.
BJ Penn.
BJ Penn, a prodigy.
Israel Adesanya.
Adesanya, style.
Style bending. Ronda Rousey.
He's just a sweetheart.
Ilia Topuria.
The Rose.
Sean O'Malley.
It's colorful. Why? He's colorful. Colorful character, colorful hair, colorful fighting style, colorful cars.
He's colorful.
Yeah,
he's colorful.
That's a compliment.
Volkanovski.
Volk, he's just awesome. I love everything about that guy.
Anderson Silva.
He's my idol. To this day. I get nervous when I'm around him to this day.
George St. Pierre.
Masterful example.
Daniel Cormier.
Next question, please. No, I'm teasing.
You could give him a good one.
I'm proud of that man. I'm proud of him.
Proud.
I'm proud of him.
I love DC. I hope to be DC one day. Islam.
What is it called when someone's been brought up by somebody else? He's like a
prodigy.
Prodigy. Yeah, he's prodigy. He's Khabib's prodigy. It's good to see his hard work pay off.
Best student.
Yeah.
Best student, man.
Yeah.
That guy's a savage.
Bro, I'm really no hater, bro. Like when people are doing great, I got to give them their flowers.
I want Islam in the chair one day. Just gonna put that out there.
You want in the chair?
Yeah, I want to interview Islam.
You heard it. You heard it here, Islam.
Islam Khabib. I want the duo. Put it out there in the world right now. So.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Last two questions, man. Could 100 men beat one gorilla?
Could 100 men? That's a good. I knew this question was coming too. That's hot right now. Could 100 men beat a gorilla? I'd say absolutely yes. I think you get a bunch of unarmed men. I think the one thing that a lot of people aren't taking into consideration is the intelligence of men. And that's just something.
I don't agree with you. I think a silverback gorilla is just the movement is just, I don't think we could keep up with that type of movement. I just think the skin, I think, like what would we do?
Wait, you're saying you agree with me or you
no,
disagree?
I don't agree with you.
Oh, you don't agree?
No,
okay.
I don't think 100 men could beat a gorilla.
I mean, when you think about what men have been able to achieve in history, I mean, like, we would outsmart that gorilla for sure. We wouldn't need weapons, but we would outsmart it for sure. For sure. And then I've been, this shit's been hunting my Instagram lately.
How?
When you slow down the tape of a gorilla fighting, he's not throwing direct strikes, it's flaily, he's hitting you with his palm. And
he will take you and split you in two.
I agree, but then you have your backup behind, And then I'm also hearing things about the endurance of a gorilla and how they fight in spurts and, explosiveness. As a longevity athlete, I fight for 25 minutes. I get how you can be the toughest person on the planet, and fatigue makes cowards of all of us. When you're tired, you're just tired. You can be the baddest dude on the planet, but when you're tired, you're just tired. That little inner bitch starts coming out and speaking to you. And I think that's what would happen against a gorilla.
How many John Joneses would it take to beat one gorilla?
I'm gonna say 20.
Brother, you're the GOAT, but stop.
I say 20.
Bro, stop.
I am a cardio athlete, bro.
Sure, you're the GOAT.
And I fight dirty. I fight to win.
I would believe you if you told me you could beat up any man, but like, bro, 20 John Joneses.
20 John
You would be
Jones.
the first I'd nominate on earth to go first. I'd put you first in front of the line.
Give me 20, bro. I'm breaking fingers and toes. You name it. I'm going for the eyes.
Poking eyes.
I'm poking eyes. You asshole. I saw what you did there.
Poking eyes.
You beat me to it. That's hilarious. Yeah, that's a fun debate. Could you imagine if of men around the world got this fired up towards loving your neighbor, giving back, charity? Come on, because I mean we're in such a discussion right now about
Violence
beating up
sells,
on this damn gorilla.
Violence, you know what it is.
But what if we were talking about feeding your neighbors, or starting food banks, or cleaning up your community, something like that? I want to hear us fired up about that type of stuff.
Fair enough. Let's save more gorillas in this world. Let's give out more love. This is an amazing way to end.
There it is.
Thank you, bro. From me, I promise you this was something I could not have dreamed to be possible, and it is just so full circle to come here to talk to you, for you to be vulnerable with me and to talk about the things we did. I hope this conversation helps men and women out there that are in need to look at somebody and look at a story that could show them that it's not over, and you have done that for so many people. Thank you to your contributions to MMA, to the fight game, to combat sports worldwide. You are undoubtedly the GOAT in my eyes, and I think in the eyes of a lot of other people, man.
If you give me the moment, I just want to thank you as well for allowing me on your platform. I don't do podcasts. I've been asked by people around the world and been offered everything to do a podcast. I usually say no, and I believe in you. I believe in your message and what you're trying to do. I've been watching you for a long time, give back to so many people. And after watching your videos, I usually just smile and nod, man. So to meet you in person is truly an honor. And I just appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing. I see what you're doing.
Thank you, bro. Thank you so much.
Oh, man. My guy.
Can I try to choke you out, or could I knock you out or something?
Let's see them hands.
Hold on, let me get some give me some space. Let me really work out.
You don't want this, Vic. What we doing? What we doing? What we gonna do, Vic?
You call it however you want to lose. You call it. It's not really my.
Come on. Don't slap my chair.
I want you in your best.
This is best, right?
Watch on. You don't want.
Watch on. I'm gonna slap you up.
You're not gonna slap me up.
Yeah, I'm about to slap you up.
Fuck you think this is, man?
Should I pack you one? All right, here we go, Vic. Ding, ding, ding.
Someone start the song.
Normally when I do that, I ask you, where you going? They backing up a lot. You backing up? All right, you stop me with something. Where the fuck little jab low? Let's see Vic's hands. We had to do the Philly show. We call this the outrage show. No.
That was not.
That was blocked, bro. Oh, I'll be kicking now too. Get your ass.
Yeah, that's the same interview. He would have had me if he just.
Oh, that shit funny, bro.
He would have had me. I jabbed John Jones in the stomach. That was a clean jab to the stomach.
Vic, you game though. I see it. You game, bro. Why you so
As long as I got your respect.